Welcome back, y'all. I want to thank y'all for being patient with me and for tuning in. This is not your usual cup of tea vlog. I'm Aaron, the host, and today we will be interviewing Art Johnson, aka Art, my friend and family since high school. And yeah, let's get into it.
And I'm freaking it out, cause I'm watching trying to touch it. I was peeping it out. She turned around and was trying to put my dick in the mouth. I let her.
So, you want to start off by introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about you, whatever you want to say before we get started.
Yeah. So my name is Art Johnson. I am a high school science teacher over at University City High School. I teach biology, physical science, and also ecology. Me and Erin went to high school together over at Hazelwood East. I've known her for how long it's been, Erin?
Like 6, 7 years?
Yeah, 6, 7 years. It's been some time. So
Don't judge our math.
right, don't judge our
We don't know,
math.
'cause it
Right,
was like the end of 8th grade. So
right. In 8th grade, so that was 2011. So it was about 10 years.
I feel old.
Yeah, I know, right? I saw you feel old.
Alright.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Now I want to ask. So, is it like you teach seniors or?
Yes, so
Okay.
I teach credit recovery with the seniors.
Okay.
It's a couple juniors and it's a couple sophomores. So I teach mainly seniors though. Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we get into it, I kind of want to touch on why I want to interview you. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I'm gonna give you your flowers now. Okay. Well, reason being is because I gotta give it to teachers. I know they say your first teacher's at home,
Mhm.
but teachers deal with you for about 7, 8 hours a day,
Right.
and they teach you so much more than what's going on inside the classroom.
Right.
And I can't even tell you how many times that they've given me lessons that that have come from several years ago that pop up in my head now and they resonate with me now, and they still help me
Right.
to this day. So I think teachers are a very important role in people's lives,
Right.
and they are very positive to me because they impact who you are going to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of your home,
Mhm.
but sometimes all kids have are their teachers.
Right.
Right. So, I just want to say that because I know a lot of us did not expect to be where we are now.
I know that's right.
Because I used to skip class. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I
Yeah.
still graduated and everything on time and all that. But if I didn't have those teachers who looked out for me,
Right.
shout out to Miss Foster, Mr. McAtee, Mr. Edwards, and Miss Whitney and everything that looked out for me, because I wasn't easy to deal with.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be as positive as I am now, or I don't even know. But, shout out to all of y'all, the
Right.
teachers who get up and do it every day.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. Teaching education is a highly underrated field, especially being a minority, being a black man, especially. It's very, very high underrated. Like you said, I didn't picture myself doing this. 4 years ago, I was at SEMO. I was going to school to become a computer science
yeah.
major. And after my first year, I hated it. I hated it with a passion. It was just, and I tell people, and it's crazy that you say this because what resonated with me was I was watching a Bernie Mac interview one day.
Okay.
And this was after like my first semester, and I realized I didn't like it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And he told me in the interview, he said, he was like, I hate when people brag on what they got, what they do, this, and this.
Mhm.
He said, if you do what you love, the money will come.
Yes.
And when he said that, it stuck with me hard. And so from that point on, I found out I had to target it what I like to do. I love educating people, whether it's teaching them what I do, science, or if it's just teaching simple life lessons. I just love informing people.
Yeah.
So I figured, I love science in high school and I like to be an educator. So why not combine the two and go into the field of teaching? And honestly, it's probably one of the best decisions I ever made. It feels good waking up, going to work, and it not feeling like an actual job. Like if
Right.
you was to tell me, if God was to come and say you had to do this for the rest of your life without getting paid, I would be perfectly fine with it because
Okay.
I enjoy it. I really do.
Now, with that being said, we're going to kind of jump around here a bit because you said some things that it kind of changed the route that I was going. So, I want to ask you, what's your favorite part of the job?
What's my favorite part of the job? That is an amazing question. I would think my favorite part of the job is when the light bulb kick on in the student head. Whenever I'm talking or whenever I'm lecturing or whenever I'm relating something to whatever parts of life, that's a key element in teaching. It's one thing to just read off a notebook and paper, but if you can make that connection to that student life, that's another thing. And so when I make those connections and when me and the students laugh, they be like, "Oh, Miss Johns, I get it when you put it that way." To me, it's just like a real relief. It really does put a smile on my face. So I would say that's probably my favorite part of the job.
No, I appreciate that because teachers like Miss Gaskin,
Yeah.
I didn't get it at first.
Yeah, Miss Gaskin, she was one way of the highway. If you ain't do it her way, you would find her.
But that kind of remind me of her because at first, I go in stubborn. You be like, man, I don't care about this. What do I need this for? How is this gonna relate to me later? But when you get it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I got it.
Right.
And this and that. And so, that leads me to the next question. How do you respond, or what's your approach to students who
initially come in?
Well, not even that, to students who who feel like I can't learn nothing from this. What do I need this for? Who don't care to pay attention in class? What's your approach?
I deal with that every day. Every day I deal with that, especially working with the kids I do now. They some good kids. All of them good. I tell them every day, all y'all capable of doing this work. Yeah. It's just we got to put the work in. So, how I deal with that whenever a kid tell me, Mr. Johnson, I can't do this or I don't understand this, we're going to use this, I just simply tell them, you thinking too much. Typically when students say stuff like that, they thinking too hard and they think something always a trick question and they always real hesitant. And I tell them, examine the problem, examine the question. Look what it's asking you. We've been doing this for, a couple days now. It's still the same setup. It's just now, my hand's not there to guide you anymore. Now it's your time to do it. It's like they need that. Yeah, it's just that scary when you see a certain, physics problem or a biology question. They get a little scared. And then, after they do it, I'm like, see, we walk through it, they come to the board. See, I do all the time. Yeah, Mr. Johnson, you right. You right, I did know how to do it. See?
Just need that push.
Right, you need that push, exactly.
Now, I also believe that, a present parent played a big role in how a student responds in class, whether it's to the classwork, the test, the homework, whatever it may be. I think, absent or a present parent plays a big part in that. So, is there a difference in your kids who have absent parents?
Than present parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say it's a difference. And you can tell by how they walk in. See, as a teacher, this field is interesting because like you said, you learn more about a student when they come in your classroom. You may know something more than what their peers might know. Mm-hmm. And like you said, that teacher might be that only element of comfort. I remember I had one student on the first day of school. He came to me. I just give that natural cool vibe. He was like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Johnson, I like you. We're going to get along this semester." And he just started sharing about how he lost people who was close to him and stuff like that. And so, I can tell it was just that absence in their life. So, we went ahead and had a private conversation. He went ahead and shared that with me. So I can tell when the parents are absent and when the parents are present, especially with parent-teacher conference, open house. Typically, the absent parents, they don't really show up. Or the parents that don't really check up or heavy on their child's education, they don't show up, stuff like that. But those kids who parents care, you gonna do this? Yeah, you gonna know. Shout out to my mama. They gonna show up parent-teacher conference. That first phone call, I'm gonna get them right back together. So it's most definitely a difference. It really is.
Okay. Yeah. No, it definitely is. That's really important. And I kind of want to go back to what you said because I think right now. So let me get my question together. So with the current climate, and I think we're kind of working on it as a whole, but with the current climate from kids switching over to laptops and computers to coming back to school, how do you? We talking about you. How do you partner up or team with your co-workers, fellow teachers and administrators and parents to better help the student? because I mean I have younger siblings and they were strictly online last year, and you got some kids who were hybrid,
Right.
and so it's a little bit harder.
It is.
It's a little bit harder
It
for
is.
them right now.
It's way harder.
So with the current climate, because everything is more technology based, even though y'all are in the school. So what's your approach to that? You know what I'm saying? Is there like a game plan you guys have come up with? And how do you implement that into your everyday teaching?
Yeah, so we do have a game plan. This is something we tell students, we tell parents, first day of school, open house, we tell them, this is a learning curve. This is something we still are in the pandemic, so we're still learning as ourselves as teachers, And so that's just the first thing we put on the table. Everything is subject to change. We figuring out what's working for the kids, what's not working for the kids. Using last year's data with COVID and all that, we see that, hey, this isn't working, kids. And even kids come to me, Mr. Johnson, this ain't working. So what we've been doing, give the students the option. Hey, we've had that about 5 or 10% of students at UCD High School, they want to stay virtual, online. However, the rest of the kids, they want to come back. And so now we came back, we came up as a team. What are these protocols that we're going to do to make sure that these students remain safe and that they're safe and that we're not spreading COVID? So we have in the classroom, each desk is 6 feet spread apart. Everybody's required to wear masks. All teachers have hand sanitizer. We are implementing these different things. And so as far as with the teaching, what I do personally, I know students have a challenge with it. Some students, when you get COVID, you out for 2 weeks, so you miss work and all that. And I'm a very, very understandable person. So I always post my class lectures online. I try to make all the assignments, and I tell the kids, every assignment I give you is maybe take at most 15, 20 minutes to do. My philosophy, I don't think you need to get hit with heavy homework to see if you grasp the material.
Yes.
If I can give you this marker and you go to the board and write it out, to me that is you showing that you demonstrate the knowledge. I can give you one homework assignment, give you feedback, we work on it, and then we be cool. So, my homework load is real low. I might sign one homework assignment, or if I sign like a project, like I said, all my assignments complete during class time. That way students don't have to worry about going home with their heavy workload, because some students out here, watching their little brothers, their little sisters, and stuff like that. So, I just always gotta be mindful of that. And that's what we've been doing as a department.
I like that. No, that's very helpful. And when I hear you talk, I'm not gonna say I didn't have no teacher like you. You know what I'm saying? Well, I didn't have a teacher like you. I had a couple, but it sounds like you take some of your experience with teachers from high school or just school in general and then implement it into what you're doing. So, what was high school like for you?
High school life for me, I enjoyed it. Honestly, I really did enjoy it.
He was a jokester.
I was the jokester, but I was that dude who always got his work done. I graduated high school with a 3.4 GPA. Went off post-secondary education, got my bachelor's degree, finna work on my master's degree in education real soon. So for high school, for me, it was really enjoyable. I do have some regrets. I regret not being active in activities or clubs and stuff like that. I didn't really start getting active to my senior year. I wish I'd have went to more of these games. I really wish I'd have went to homecoming, all 4 years, so that way I can see my growth as an individual. However, I did just went my senior year. Prom was amazing. It really was. High school was a real roller coaster, and I think about it all the time. How much I miss it. I really do. I really do.
I can't help but to think about it all the time. I see teachers all the time, and I'm friends with a couple on Facebook, and they still reach out and help and teach me to this day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's nice to have that. It's just right there on the tip of my tongue. No, okay, so I'm not going to say one because I think everybody has more than one. So your top 3 teachers in high school, and how do they influence the way you teach now?
My top 3 teachers in high school. See, it's 4 for me.
Okay.
And can I get 4?
Yeah,
okay.
That's all right.
I got Dr. Bowler.
Okay.
I got Dr. Lester. Shout out to Dr. Lester, Dr. Bowler. I got Mr. Clark. And I got Miss Heike.
I don't think I've had any of those. I don't think I've had any of those.
You never had Mr. Clark?
No, he just was like everywhere though.
Right. And so I grabbed each one of their strengths and I kind of incorporated into my teaching. Dr. Bowler, she was real stern. She instilled that level of sternness to be like, hey, I'm not gonna play with you. When it's time to work, we gonna work, and I'm not gonna hold your hand. She didn't hold our hand, and when I first had her, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna like this lady. But as the years progressed, oh yeah, I grew to love her. I love what she taught me. Same thing with Dr. Lester. Dr. Lester, she made education and learning fun, and she was like a real big piece as to why I am a biology teacher. I tell her that all the time when we have our faculty meetings because we teach at the same school now.
Oh, that's what's up.
She, from playing the Amoeba Sisters videos to joking around. See, me and Dr. Lester, we had that connection where she would come into class, and every time a student said something crazy, she'd just look at you. And I used to be there always, that student sitting in the front, and I would know what she was thinking. So it was like telepathy, and we always used to crack out laughing. Mr. Clark, he was just funny all around.
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious, He was that teacher that you could straight talk to like he your homeboy, but still teach at the same time. He even as teachers now, he's still that same funny individual. And then Miss Heike, she's just that. I like to call her Mama Heike. That's what she reminds me of. She reminds me like a mom, a young mom. Like, she does not play that stuff. She does not play. Like, she'll tell me. It's been a couple times. And it's funny because I tell my students this too. Whenever I had my head up my A word and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do when I'm slacking, she'd come to me and tell me, get your head out your ass. You can do this. And so that's stuff that I tell my students. Hey, get your head out your ass. You know how to do this. We've been doing this. Stop second guessing yourself. Let's get through it. And yeah, those 4 teachers really had a great impact on my teaching philosophy.
Okay. So, also with them being seniors, and we not that old, so it's been like 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years. I know. I think about
we
it
still
every
kind
day.
of close in age. Okay.
Right.
So, do you think your age, being that you are so close in age to a lot of your students, do you think that's a helpful factor?
It is. It's an amazing factor. When applying for jobs, most older teachers may think that it's a negative impact. And I can look at it to how it could be a negative impact. But in my case, it's a positive impact because I can relate to these students. I know all the latest terms, the slang, I know all this.
Yeah.
And I can feel what a student feels because we're still, what they're going through, even though I am older than them, I'm still going through as well. So they look at me as a big brother almost in that sense.
Okay.
And so that, from day one, establish connections. And that's what we strive to do as teachers at University High School. We strive to make those connections. And so that's one big thing right there. And then once you got those connections, it's like all the doors start to open.
Yeah, you got it.
They get comfortable with you. You can joke around with them, but they also can work. I can't tell you, in my 5 weeks of teaching, I've dealt with probably many students that I've dealt with when I was in high school. Like, I've dealt with all different types. Students coming out of 90-day suspension, and they would come to me and be like, oh yeah, this student's gonna be a handful. And the first day they see me, I talk to them like how I talk to them, homeboy, homegirl, how you doing? What's your name? What's going on? Oh, my name is this, and this, such and such and such. And we just be cool. I be thinking in my head, like, why? This student's cool. She's a good student. She's doing her work.
Yeah.
What was it that she was doing that was having these problems with these other teachers? But when she came to me, it was a different thing. It was a different situation.
Also, a lot of people don't take accountability.
Right.
As far as, teacher or adult wise.
Right.
What did you do? Or how can you better do this? Or what can you change?
Right. And I think about that older generation that, and I was talking to my students about this the other day. We live in that older generation, people born in the 60s, 50s, maybe early 70s. They think whenever a student talks back to you that it's them being insubordinate or it's them being smart mouth, when in fact it's not. Maybe it's your approach to how you came to them that led to them responding the way you did. So you always got to look at both sides of the spectrum. You know, just because something has been working for you for 20-some years does not mean it doesn't need to be changed, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's also like if you worked on a math problem, if you don't get it this way, it's always another way.
Always another way. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
We are coming down to the last couple of questions.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Y'all like him, right? I like him. This won't be friends. Cool. Okay, but so it's an off the wall question, but who's your favorite superhero? And
Who's
why?
my favorite superhero? Oh
Right?
my God.
Right? My Spider-Man.
I would say I'm just now getting into Marvel and stuff like that. So I was watching the Avengers and stuff like that. So I would probably say at the moment I'd probably say Iron Man. He's probably my favorite superhero. Why? He's a real selfless individual. You know, when I watched the end of Endgame, you know, he sacrificed his life.
Big sacrifice.
Right, he sacrificed his life for everybody else, and to bring everybody else who was eliminated by Thanos. To me, that was a real touching moment. You know, that was a real selfless moment and real good character development. So I would say my favorite superhero would probably be Thanos. Not Thanos, Iron Man. I'm sorry.
Like, whoa, no.
Yeah, not Thanos, not Thanos.
But no, the reason I asked you that is because, for one, you know, do you think y'all share any similar qualities? And superheroes are important because they are also who you look to.
Right.
They also play a
Right.
part in, you know, raising you.
Right.
Whether you
Right.
start now or you start, you know, much younger.
Right.
But
Right. So I would say, yes, we do share the same qualities. You know, he was a very smart individual. You know, I'm a smart individual. Selflessness, I would say, and I think about this a lot. You know, if it came down to it, if I had to, and you know, knock on wood, that I don't ever have to, but if I have to
Right.
sacrifice myself for, you know, my family, my students, or anybody, whether it's being life, it don't even have to be death. If I just got to sacrifice, you know, my job to teach the right thing or to do the right thing, you know, I will be quick to do it. So I would say that I do have some of those characteristics that Iron Man shares as well.
I like Iron Man. I didn't like him at first. I wasn't a big fan.
Right.
But, you know, it was just he said, she said. I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh, okay, he's not that bad. I like how, you know, he just, I want this, I'm going to go get it.
Right.
You know, it's a good
Exactly.
characteristic to me.
Right.
But, okay, so how do you challenge common misconceptions in education?
How do I challenge common misconceptions in education? The first big thing that when I heard these different conceptions, you know, I just tell people everything is not always what you're saying.
Right.
And I always give examples to what they could have been. You know, if, you know, people have the conception that, you know, teachers don't do their job, teachers don't teach. Well, you can't really apply that narrative to all teachers, you know. I can tell you what we've been doing. Here's the facts. This is what we're doing
Right.
for our community. This is what we're doing for our students. So, you know, that misconception is kind of out the window, you know. First, the most thing I get a lot, you know, you a teacher? You know, teachers don't get paid much and all that. And I tell them every time, you know, it's not about the money. The money is going to always come. The money is going to come with what you love, you know. That happens as you progress. And that's with any job, you know. We live in a society where, you know, most jobs, not all of them, but most jobs start off at, you know, the bare minimum, but it gets better as you progress. And unfortunately, teachers is one of those jobs, you know, where we lack at with pay, we make up with as benefits, you know, just different stuff like that. So I always like to inform people on these different misconceptions because, you know, everything is not always what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I said, it's not about the money, you know. You know, rest in peace, Robin Williams. But you know, that's a prime example of money can't buy you everything.
Love that
You
man.
know. Right,
Love
right,
that man. Like I knew him or something.
right. Yeah, it touched me when he died. It really did.
God bless him and his family.
Exactly.
His soul, his family.
Right.
Okay, so we're down to the last two questions.
Last two questions. Let me hear 'em.
Right. Okay.
Let me hear 'em.
Number one. What is it that you hope to achieve by being a teacher?
What is it that I hope to achieve by being a teacher? I want to, whether it's being in the school setting or just even in a life setting, I just want to instill knowledge and prepare whoever I'm teaching for that next step. And that's really my goal. It's to whatever I do. You know, I have hopes of later on down the line being an entrepreneur. If I'm successful with it, I want to prepare people to be to that next level, to be that, to reach into your inner potential and bring it out. And that's really my hopes as to what I'm doing being a teacher. I know.
He hardly had to think. I don't know if these questions was good enough.
No, they some questions. They some amazing questions. It's questions that I always think about. So that means the fact that you thinking of it means that you are an amazing interviewer. You are an amazing interviewer. If you can read my mind like that, it's an amazing interviewer.
All right, this the last one.
It's the last one.
Okay.
Last one.
So I always ask this normally in my over the phone interviews, but we're getting better out here with this COVID and this pandemic. Is there anything that I have not asked you or you have not said that you would like to share?
Oh, that's challenging. Anything? We thinking. I mean, she had me thinking this whole time, but this one of them questions you can't really prepare for.
The student becomes the teacher.
Is there any question that you haven't asked me that I would like to share? I feel like you hit all the good questions.
Okay.
But I do have something to share. It's just like, you know, to the audience out there, whatever it is that you want to do in life, you know, and I tell my students this all the time, whatever it is, what you want to do in life, make sure that you are good at it. Make sure you put the time in it. Make sure you are consistent with it, because consistency leads to longevity, and longevity leads to successfulness. To my black and brown kids like me who want to get a quick come up, you know, those who out here selling drugs, scamming, all that, you know, fast money is not good money. It's not. It's in the name. It's fast money. It's not gonna last, you know.
Cause that time don't go by fast.
That time does not go by fast when you get caught. And for those who's doing it, reinvest that money. Put it into something. Make the dirty money clean. Put it into real estate. Invest it into stocks. Invest it into.
And get out of that BS.
Right. Get out of that BS while you can. Really, truly. That's like one of the greatest advices that I tell my students. Get out of it while you can, because once you're in it and you get in the mix, it's hard to get out the mix. It really is. It really is.
All right. Well, look at you, Art. I'm proud of my friend. You know, I just want to say that I'm proud of you.
I really do appreciate that, and not even for the sake of when she asked to interview me, like, this meant the world to me. Like, I was so excited, and it just means a lot when people tell me that they proud of me, because I'm always hard on myself. I beat myself down every day. Maybe I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this. I'm moving too slow. Time running out. And I always have to remind myself that where I was at today, 6 months ago, I was nowhere near this. So we're getting there. We getting there. Baby steps, you know.
Y'all gonna see more of him, I'm telling you.
Right. You know, and I told Cameron this too, but I haven't even told you this. And
Shout out to Cam.
Shout out to brother Cam, you know, in his podcast. Mm-hmm. But you and him actually really did inspire me to want
you trying to
do.
make me cry.
I promise you, I'm not saying this for the views. This is something straight from the heart. This is what I've been wanting to tell her. I've been wanting to do podcasting, but I never really had the courage to do it, because it was like, what if it's not successful?
Just do it.
Just do it, right? Just do it. It's crazy. Just do it. And it kind of goes against what I'm always strategic. I always think about stuff. You can't always think like that. And in this case, it's just something you gotta go out and do it. Because if you don't do it, and time, you just waste time, then you regret it that you didn't do it. So, you know, I do want to start my podcast in the future, and when I do,
You heard it here first.
she is gonna be the first person. The seats will be switched. The seats will be switched.
Okay.
I will be the one asking the questions. But you and Cam really have inspired me to want to be able to start my own podcast.
That make me feel good.
And I'm proud of you too. I
love you.
I'm proud. I am so
y'all.
proud. I am so proud of her. You know, to write her own first book, to starting this podcast. I mean, just look at the setup right here. This is just so.
Look at the teacup.
Look at the teacup, like the
shirt.
hard work. It's just, oh my God, I love it. I love it. I really do. I am so proud of her. I wanted to say this face to face. You know, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I really am, truly.
Oh, what a way to end it. I'm not gonna cry on camera, so we're gonna cut it short.